Hi, this is Janna and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making one of my husband's absolute favorite meals, shrimp and grits. It's a southern classic, and like fried chicken or spaghetti sauce or chili, there is a million ways to Sunday to make shrimp and grits. There's modern ways, old-fashioned ways, Louisiana ways, but we're gonna do it Janna ways tonight. And so one of the things about cooking is you want to do things in order so that everything gets done at the same time. And so because of that, I've got 2 cups of water started, and it's starting to boil now. And I'm going to add to the 2 cups of boiling water, I'm going to add 2 cups of heavy cream. This is how we're going to make our delicious creamy grits. Cheese grits, no less. And so as soon as we get that heated up, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Maybe a pinch more because I'm using kosher. Anytime you're using kosher salt in a recipe, you need to add about half again as much because of how it measures. And that's really important. And it's kind of like potatoes. With grits, you have to add the salt in the beginning. It's kind of hard to make it taste right if you add it too late. So this is starting to come to a boil. And so now I'm going to add 1 cup of grits. And these are the old-fashioned grits. You can use instant grits, but for the cheese grits, I like to do the old-fashioned because I just think they're a lot creamier. That's my personal opinion, but I know everybody has an opinion of what they like to use. There is no right or wrong. You do what your family does. And if you're new to all of it and you're like, grits, that was me. Boy, when I first moved to the South almost 25 years ago, I was like, grits? I'm not so sure. Well, that's just corn. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, once you taste them, they're delicious. Now, if you eat the instant grits, I can see why you don't like them. I do not like instant grits personally. And so now I'm going to get this to come to a boil. And while that's coming to a boil, as soon as it starts, see, there it goes, it's starting to come to boil. Very important is that you stir or even whisk as those start to come to a boil. And then we're going to turn it down and let it do its thing, because they're going to start to thicken up, and you don't want to scorch them on the bottom. That's really important. Start to turn my heat down a little bit. I don't want that milk to go all over. And so I'm going to come and test those just in a minute. I'm going to stir those. And then in this pan, I've got it heating up. It's just a regular pan. You can use a skillet too. I just have some flour. You can use any all-purpose flour that you have. I like to use Wondra. And in this pan, I'm going to reach over here and stir my grits a little bit. I'm ambidextrous tonight. I got a 1/4 cup of flour in this pan, just a dry pan. And I'm going to watch that very closely on very low heat. And I'm going to brown that flour because that's going to make our roux. And I'm going to put these off to the side in just a couple minutes while we start our shrimp and grits, or our shrimp part of this with the sauce. And in my shrimp and grits, I use a base of bacon. And then I build off of the bacon with the Trinity, it's called. It's celery. This is always the Trinity. Celery, green pepper, and onion. Onion. Do you remember some of those? I'm older. I'm Social Security age. But back in my day, back in the 60s and 70s, there was one of the first cooking shows on TV. And he was a Cajun cook, and boy, could he cook. He was a personality plus guy. That was awesome. I remember him saying onion for onion. Onion. So good. So these are going to be, I'm just going to keep stirring these. I'm going to keep stirring this until it gets a nice golden brown to it. And we will be back in just a few minutes. Okay, I've got some bacon rendering down here. I've got about 6 slices of bacon. Because you know what? Anytime you're making a sauce, If you don't have any flavor, I just don't know what to tell you. Flavor is everything. And then, I don't know if you can see over here, the grits are starting to come together. They're still cooking. But I keep stirring them constantly. I don't ever leave them alone for a minute. And while those are cooking, I've got them this far along. I'm going to add to them 2 tablespoons of butter. Because remember, we're making creamy grits. Yes, we are. And so we've got everything moving today. Got our flour over here browning for the roux. Getting my butter mixed into those cheese grits. They're going to be cheese grits. Right now they're just grits. And once they get all the way done, the grits, you can adjust the moisture of them by adding a little more heavy cream or a few drops of water, a little milk. And we like ours kind of not real thick because they do thicken when you have them for leftovers. And so as this is starting to render down, then I'm going to put in some sausage. And see there, Erin, can you catch that real close? It's just starting to turn golden, the flour. It looks white if you don't look real close, but it's starting to turn golden. And you want to watch that so it doesn't burn. And that gives our roux a very pretty color and flavor. Starting to go. Once it's kind of like caramel, once it starts to go, it goes quickly. And to the bacon grease, I'm going to add the sausage, and then I'm going to add the onion and the celery and the pepper. That trinity that we talked about is going to go into this. Keep stirring my grits. We don't forget about them. I'm going to add just a little bit more milk. Heavy cream is what I got. Get that stirred in there. And for, like I said, for our taste, I'm going to add just a few more drizzles of water. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I like it to render more than fry. And so we'll be back as soon as this bacon gets rendered down. Okay, we've got our flour starting to be darker brown. And so I'm now that that pan is that hot, it's starting to smoke pretty good. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just turning the heat off now, and it's going to be fine. I'm just going to keep stirring it though. Even though my heat is off, I'll keep stirring it just so that hot pan doesn't burn it anyway. We don't want any burned flour. And we'll be back. Okay, you can see the bacon is getting rendered down, but it's not all the way done yet. So now I'm going to add in my CONECUH sausage. It's a southern sausage favorite, my husband's favorite. You can use andouille. You can use Polish sausage, I don't care. You can use a jalapeño sausage that's really popular right now. Whatever you like, your favorite sausage. And while that's cooking, now I'm going to add in my onion. I have one medium large onion. It's on the larger side of medium. And I'm going to add in my celery. That is 4 stalks of celery. You can add less if you're not a celery fan, but our family loves celery, and it has so many nutritional value to it. And so as long as we're eating all of this bacon and sausage, we want to get our nutrition in there. And you can add tomato. You can add rotel. Not the juice, just the tomato. And then I make these really big because my husband it upsets his stomach, but I always put these in like this because he gets the flavor, but then I pull them out before I make the sauce because it gets the flavor, the bell pepper. I'm going to turn up my fire a little bit. And we're going to cook this down and we'll be back. Okay, you can see the celery, the onions, peppers, all melding together, starting to caramelize. The onions have become clear. It's not quite done yet. It's getting close. And I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of garlic. I know I don't like jarred garlic, but I didn't have any fresh tonight, so I had to dig in the pantry for some jarred. And get that in there. So I'm going to continue to caramelize this, and we'll be back in a few minutes. I'm getting my pan heated up over here for the shrimp. That'll go cook last. And my grits are coming along beautifully. They're almost done. I still got them on a very low simmer. And my flour's already ready to make the roux. I've got my seafood stock that I'm going to thicken my sauce with. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, you can see peppers are cooked. Everything's cooked. Sausages are rendered down. Yum, yum. Now I'm going to add, just for color, I'm going to add a little bit of tomato. I don't want that to fade on me though, because that's just for a beautiful color. And now I'm going to add a couple shakes of hot sauce, or Louisiana hot sauce, or whatever you like. We don't do too much because my husband loves spice, but not too much spice. And especially in the evening. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Tony's to taste. That's got salt and everything in it, so we haven't salted anything yet. And that is Tony's Creole seasoning. And now we have our flour. Putting everything in my sink as we go here. And remember what I said about my husband's not really he likes the taste, but that doesn't like him. Let's put it that way. So I keep the green peppers big. So we got the flavor from them though, that's nice. Here we go. One man hiding, two men hiding. There we go. And so now I'm going to turn my fire down. We're going to cook that flour for about a minute here. You want to cook it or it's going to taste raw. So listen to the flavors that are in there. Bacon, sausage, onion, garlic, celery, pepper, hot sauce. That is a lot of flavor. So now, get that flour cooked. I've got seafood stock. If you don't have seafood stock, you can use chicken broth. That'll work fine. And it's going to depend on your pan, so I'm going to add a little bit at a time. I've added about half that box, which is 2 cups. Oops, I found another man hiding. And now that's going to come to a boil. And now my grits are over here, and they are looking for a little bit of cheese. And so I have about 1.5 cups of cheese here, cheddar cheese. But you can use pepper jack cheese. I know our daughter uses pepper jack cheese, because her husband loves pepper jack. Look at everything coming together. And you don't really want to use the stuff that's already pre-grated if you can help it, because it has a cellulose, which is basically tree wood dust on it, and it doesn't make them as creamy. So fresh grated is best, but do what you can do with what you have. There we go. Look at that. And those are going to firm up as they cool down a little bit. So now I'm really going to turn my fire way down. And some people add a few shakes of hot sauce to the cheese grits, but we'll just leave them plain. That's how we like it. And I like our sauce on here to be like a gravy consistency, so that when you put it over the top, it is delicious. And some people add cream even to this, but this has a lot of flavor. Aaron, could you, hey, oh, there is, that's my garlic spoon. That's gonna be too powerful. Do you wanna hand me a spoon for me to taste? See if I need to adjust my Tony's. Thank you. We'll taste it. No more salt needed. Because remember, the sausage has salt in it. The bacon has salt in it, so be real wary of adding a lot of salt. I think that's good. I do have a Tony's that has no salt in it, so if I need to add more Cajun flavor, I can also do that. I think what I'm going to do is add just a couple shakes, like a teaspoon of Louisiana hot sauce. But you can also use Frank's. All right, so I'm gonna turn the fire up here. This is where we're gonna cook our shrimp. I've got a skillet that is hot now. That's gonna sizzle. Woohoo! Huh? A little hot. I'm gonna turn it off for a minute. And so I've got my bowl of shrimp here, and I've got some shrimp seasoning, or you can use a Cajun that Tony's to season your shrimp, or salt and pepper, whatever you like. I'm going to use a little bit of shrimp seasoning and a little bit of Tony's. I'm going to grab that in a minute here, Aaron. And I'm going to put them in here. Oh yeah, sizzle, sizzle. I can season them a little bit more, the ones that I didn't hit. And these are not going to take long at all. I've even shut the fire off in that skillet. Remember, all our flavors in this skillet right here. Yum, yum. And about as fast as I get these in here, I'm going to be flipping them, because as soon as they lose that gray color, these are raw shrimp. As soon as they lose that gray color, you better start flipping and removing, or they're going to overcook, because they'll even cook a little after you take them off the heat. See, look at that's pink already, that fast. And they'll get real chewy if you overcook shrimp. My pan's starting to cool down now. And turn the fire back up. You see this over here? I'm just going to stir it every once in a while. I'll be able to turn it down in just a second. Look at how fast those shrimp cook. These aren't real big. You can get as big ones as you like. I'm very, very particular. I like domesticated, wild shrimp, never farmed. Research if you don't know why. And one more left to go here. Turn him on over. There we go. So you can see that one's not cooked all the way. These are just about on this side. So we're going to be back in just a second. I'm going to plate this up. And that's as easy as that. Welcome back to Janna's kitchen. It's time to serve up my husband's portion here of shrimp and grits. Nice creamy cheese grits, just like that. And then comes the goodness of that. Gravy, ooh, look at this. And then, of course, you can't forget the shrimp. You can take the tails off, or you can leave the tails on. And just like that, it is supper time. Janna's shrimp and grits, cheese grits. Stop back to Janna's kitchen real soon. We've got lots of videos coming on real quick.